Oh, Haito, and welcome back to the Very Circle. It is I, Haito, your Moth Fairy guide to Magically Fantastical Worlds, and today we're going back to Dragon Warrior 2, and we should be able to beat it today. Also, congrats, Miriam being first pupa. Thank you, Ray, for the taxes and giving Dewat some cheese. We're one away from another tower and making the rat 1 pixel bigger. Hello, Melkor. Thank you, Cry and Melkor, for the daily dues. Thank you for feeding. All right, well, we did it. And we have another tower. Thank you, Cry. Grab that. Ooh. All right. Okay. The rat is now 1 pixel taller. There we go. All right. Soon there will be more cheese than Ito, honestly. We're on the way. All right, before we get into the game, let's guess a game. My guess is Spider-Man 2000. Fuck. Stars on the wall. Or in the sky. Or PlayStation. So maybe it's one of the Doom games. Doom 2? I don't know. Vehicular combat. I'm trying to think. Is it that? What is that game called? Not Heavy Metal. I never played them. Twisted Metal, that's it. I don't know if it's Twisted Metal or not. I haven't played any, but I'm gonna guess Twisted Metal. Oh, it's the first Twisted Metal. Cool. Got it. Alright, cool. Nice. Alright. So, I just made a little bit of progress in the dungeon just to get us towards the end so we could go on and get out of here and move on to the last couple bits of the game.
Such rudeness in a wizard's home is not acceptable. Perhaps I should turn thee into a frog.
2 evil clowns appeared. Have we ever looked them up on the wiki to see what they are? They are called rectors. Oh, like a rectory. I get it. Let's see. Let me pull them up. Yes. Yeah, that's it. Cool. Alright, let's fight these guys while I look through their stats and stuff. Fight. It was a very unpleasant sneeze. Defense. Anyway. Oh, these guys suck. Cool. HP 158. Attack 92, defense 38, agility 100, evasion 5 out of 64. I guess that's their main thing. They fully resist Black Fizzle Snooze, slightly resist Sap, greatly resist Fire and Dazzle. And the description is priests who serve a dark and unknown evil. Their extended exposure to eldritch energies has stripped them of every last vestige of humanity. We discover the Eye of Malroth. Yay! Give me the frick out of here. Alright, we need to go somewhere to heal up before we do anything else. So, let's do repel. I think, yeah, we're near Osterfair. So let's go there. That rhymed. Ha 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 ha. Ba-da, 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 ba, ba-da, ba-da, ba. Wow, I like perfectly lined up that the boat there just by pure coincidence, and by pure coincidence I mean gamer instinct. Oh wait, is this a dungeon? Oh no, this is the place with the Colosseum. I was like confused because it kind of almost had a dungeon-y layout, but it had the music of a town. Hi. Noise. Do you save the game or no? Fortune teller. No. Okay. Alright, off we go. On more wacky adventures. Boy, oh boy. Alright, Varia cast me. Oh, she also knows outside now. That's good, because it was really annoying when Lynn died in a dungeon and we couldn't leave the dungeon. Alright, repel. Alrighty. I know the place we need to go, but I don't remember the name of it. So give me a sec to find it. Oh, it's that place. Yeah. Okay, Baron. Baran? Beran? I don't know. Beran. I should be able to get there by like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then head east, and we should loop around to get there. And we should kind of just accidentally, well, not accidentally, but we should just kind of land somewhere on the northern side of the island. I did this right. Check. Yeah, this looks like the right place. So I need to repel again. Alright, sweet. Alright, cool. We're zooming at the speed of walk. Alrighty. Does this place have a guy that saves my game? I think he's up here. It'd be nice to save before we go, because we're about to go on a trip. Yeah. Man, I need over 20k experience for each of them just to level up once. Be you're really not. They really don't expect you or probably want you to TBH to get to max level in this game. But I also know that there are people who play this game and will just stand around grinding for 10 hours to reach max level or close. Jailer's Key. Nice. Hi, what do you have to say? Oh, I'm being heard. Stop that. The ancient road to Rhone was once west of this monolith. Ew. Cool. Honestly, I thought we were gonna use the eye initially to like get rid of those mountains. Graboopies, or bloody hands as they're called officially. All right, please don't just do this infinitely. I could run and just hope that we escape, but I don't want to like lose out on too much experience here at the end of the game. Have it screw me over. All right, cool. Copper sword, absolutely useless, and I have too much money on me at this point in the game to keep it for any reason. So just throw that shit away. Oh, we should have sold Glenn's magic armor at some point. Oh well. 2 sorcerers and their stones. Played a little bit of more of Metaphor, Reef, and Tazio, and still pretty good. I don't know. I'm digging it. It has introduced what I assume is like this game's equivalent to like how in Persona you okay, we have to get closer. You would like, you know, I think I know Persona 3 does it. Does every Persona do the thing where you have like X amount of days before you have to get to the next part of the big dungeon? And if you just don't make it, you just lose. I'm gonna assume so. Anyway, all of the major story quests are on like you have like a limited amount of days in game before you have to complete it, and it's basically, you know, fitting in side stuff in between or fitting in as much side stuff, I guess, and anything you need to do that takes up in-game time before the game says you're out of time, go do the dungeon. 3 horks and a hork. But one thing I do like, as someone who doesn't really like doing, I should look these guys up at some point too. Someone who doesn't really like doing side quests is there seem to be a lot of side quests where it's just go have like a 5 to 10 text box long conversation with an NPC and one of your stats goes up. Which I appreciate and much prefer over go spend 30 minutes to an hour doing this thing to get an item that's going to be outclassed by the stuff you find in this next dungeon, which I feel like is what a lot of RPGs do. 2 Horks and 2 Horks appeared. Wow. A lot of Horks. These are not ghouls. These are the walking corpses, I think. Boop. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I guess the only downside is that because there's a limited amount of time, it does kind of give the vibe of like, I don't know, it makes me feel like I have to do at least a little bit of side questing. Like, normally, I feel like RPGs almost kind of want you to just do literally every side quest available as soon as they become open. But this one is actively stopping you. It's like, oh, you can do a little bit, but you can't do too much. So then it kind of gives the vibe of like, oh wait, maybe I need to actually do some of these, or I'm just gonna get absolutely decimated. Also, there's like a popularity rank thingy in this game. The life crest. Wow. Oh, I just found it. Is that all this? That wasn't all I was here for, is it? I don't actually know. I just knew I needed to come here. Let me look at it. That was all I needed. All right. Cool. That felt way too easy. But I guess I just did it perfect. All right, goodbye. Let's see. Now we need to go. Oh, we gotta go find Rubus. That's right. I forgot about that guy. What was I saying? Oh wait, I can just use return. Yeah, I don't know. I like that a lot of the side quests. It's like the way I'm playing it, at least, it's like go find somebody to talk to that, like, look at the map. They have markers for like where NPCs that raise up different things are. So I'd pick who I want to go talk to that day based on that. And then as soon as the conversation's over, after like 10 or so Xboxes, if that, some of them have been like 2 or 3, my stat goes up, and then it becomes nighttime, and then, at least for now, there's only one character I can interact with at night to raise anything, so I just keep going to them every night, and then it's just like, it takes me like 5 minutes to do a day. Maybe more if I, said I didn't want to continue. Hold on. Anyway, yeah, there we go. Yes. So yeah, maybe more if I go shopping that day. But that's about it. I assume the most like grindy sort of method, if you were gonna do that route in this game, would be to go into the current dungeon and get like 80% of the way through the dungeon. Well, I'm trying to remember, do enemies respawn if you like fight them in a room and then go a couple rooms away and then come back? I haven't done that, so I don't know. I don't know if I I would think the way the game's set up, enemies wouldn't respawn until it was a different day. Like if you wanted to grind a bunch of levels, you'd have to waste multiple days in the dungeon. Which is how I assume Persona works as well. I don't know. I'm not gonna do that, so I guess I'll never find out. But yeah, it is a little surprising, and I don't know if there'll be a lot more to do that, and side quests with noteworthy NPCs will take more time in the future. Because I'm only like 5 hours in. But from what I know of Persona games, at least, when it comes to like doing the side quests where you level up your various arcana or whatever they're called, which are all, as far as I know, at least in all those games, it's tied to like hanging out with various NPCs. I feel like that's more like almost dating sim-ish, where this is literally like go find someone, talk to them for like 2 minutes, and then you're done. And any of the characters that are actually tied directly to the archetypes, as they're called in this game, I'm not actually able to go like hang out with any of them, at least not yet. So that might change later. I don't know. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Good enough, probably. To be fair, I wouldn't mind spending decent chunks of time hanging out with like the party NPCs. And I know that for a lot of people that play Persona, that is a big draw, is that between the more typical RPG fare, you are having wacky little hangouts with NPCs that you know. But I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna handle it in this. We'll have to wait and see. Trying not to get lost. Okay, I know vaguely where I'm at. Problem is that this is like a really small space. There it is. Okay. It would have been very easy to accidentally miss it. I almost did, to be fair. Alright, Rubus. This fucking tower is tiny. But tall, apparently. Okay. Oh, cool.
I hear a mortal voice calling me.
Oh, wait, that was me. Was that me? I don't know, whatever.
Ah, 3 descendants of Erdrick. Yes, I shall help thee. I am Rubus, an enchanter, and long ago I promised Erdrick to help when the time came. Now was the time. Receive now my charm and my spell of protection.
Did I get it? Arm of Rubus, cool. We got it. Let's go. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. All right. We gotta go back to Roan. It's like... What was the fastest way there? You go to Baron, which is where we just came from, right? Yeah. Okay, cool. And then I can just Glenn can do return. Nice, and we can drop some cash, some moolah. Get our leaking MP back. All right. Let's see. Oh wait, we need to go. I forgot. I was sitting here thinking, I was like, wait, how do we get to the Roan Cave? We need to go through the teleporter in Aaron. Wee. Jailer key. Nice. Ow, ow. All right. Glenn, heal everyone slightly. Okay. Alrighty. I was gonna put on repel, but it won't do anything here. I gotta do it again. Eye of Malroth. All right. So now the question is, if that path to my right was the way to the chest, what's the best path forward? Up, 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 up. Do I need to go up or down? Probably up. Repel war up. Wait, we haven't actually. Does repel work? We're not getting encounters. I don't know if I'm just getting lucky though. Up, 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 up. Okay. Uh-huh. Is this the loop? Is this like a... Oh my god, 8 metal slimes. What in the goddamn? Firebane. Infernos. Kill them. They're worth a lot. Oh my god, Glenn. What the fuck? Well, this isn't going very well. I'm just gonna walk away. Goodbye. It didn't work. Okay, now they're running away. some of them. Did we ever look up the metal slimes? Actually, I never read the Walking Corpses thing. I guess I'll read that just because I never actually did it. Right. Oh, we did it. Nice. I feel like this is looping also. I feel like it's an infinite thing. 2 Oswargs. Well, 1 Oswarg and 1 Oswarg, to be specific. Anyway, Walking Corpse. 95 HP, 59 attack, 10 defense, 34 agility, 0 to 64 evasion. Fully resists thwack and fizzle, heavily resists snooze, slightly resists fire dazzles, cassette. The rotting remnants of a once proud person, though they retain a sliver of their soul, they are cursed to ramble aimlessly forevermore. Barely aware if they are alive or dead. That's kind of sad. Does it loop left and right also? Am I supposed to just guess which one of these to go either north or south at? Also, repel does not work. I can now confirm. What is the Mega Knight called? Argonaut. Like Argonaut, but with an H. Because Hargon is the villain of this game. They have 80 HP. Hello. 125 attack, 36 defense, 71 agility, 1 and 8 evasion. I don't like that. That's very high evasion. God damn it. But anyway, to finish up what I was saying about Metaphor Fantasio. Oh wait, maybe it doesn't. Oh shit, nice. Okay, hello. I can probably kill you guys. I don't know, it's cool. It's, you know, similar-ish to Persona, but it's like high fantasy. So it's a bit more up my alley, though I do still want to play at least some of the Persona games at some point. Let's heal. I'm curious to see if it'll lean into like some of the things I associate with Persona, like, you know, going and hanging out with the NPCs and stuff a bunch. Am I just back in the first room? I feel like I am. I don't know though. I'm at the first room. Wait, yeah, this is the first room where I started. That means I went into the wrong one. We just gotta keep walking and checking north and south over and over, I'm guessing. Until I find the right one. Two dark eyes. I could probably kill them. Never mind, they immediately put my heaviest hitter to sleep. Sleep is way too powerful of a thing on the enemies. Most enemies have at least some resistance to sleep, if not being completely immune to it. Which is like in my opinion, a really annoying and really common thing in RPGs where enemies love to resist status effects, especially bosses. But at best, for your characters, you might be able to find an item, some items that resist statuses, but they're usually pretty rare. So I usually don't end up finding them, if they're, especially if they're tied to side quests and stuff. I know Final Fantasy has the ribbon, but the way I play, I'd be lucky to find one ribbon, let alone enough for an entire party. Can I run? I'm literally at some stairs. Nope. God damn it. This round is fine. I'm just gonna keep running. Oh, I didn't look up the Dark Eyes. Stop. Let me go. If you love me, let me go. They're called eyelashers. Oh wait, I was just holding. Okay, I don't want to fight. I want to run. I thought I accidentally God damn it. I don't want to accidentally start fighting them. I would really just rather take a few hits and run away. I said earlier that I was trying not to miss out on EXP, but I changed my mind because... Oh my god. Please don't kill Varia. Nice. Okay. Okay. Lynn, can you give her a tiny heal on top of that? Thank you. Okay. We went up, and I don't recognize this room, so I think we're further in. What was I talking about? I was gonna look at the Dark Eyes, I think. What do they have? 67. I'm just gonna follow the right wall as I do. Do I need to only go up? I don't know. This game. I'm gonna assume that that's the case. 67 HP. Berserkers. Oh, hello, you're new. You can tell that we're getting close to the end of the game because they're throwing a bunch of new enemies at us. I'm tempted to try to fight them because there's only two, but I'll just go for it. Fuck it. We'll see. Maybe they're not that strong. Okay, they're strong, but not against Wagamole because Wagamole hits like an isekai truck. Oh wait, no, they're not. That was Varia. If Varia does more than one damage to someone, they're weak. That's usually my litmus test because she just has a staff that she just smacks them in the head with. Let's see. Varia, can you heal yourself, please? Alright. Dark Eye. They're called Dark Eyes in Japanese as well, so it's interesting that the official English is Eyelasher. You can kind of tell, though, to be fair, that the official names for a lot of these, they tried to make them more punny, whereas the NES translations tended to be very literal. Which is interesting because I wonder if maybe some of these are puns in Japanese that I don't get, and that's why they did that, or if they just thought it would be more fun to make them punny in English, and that was all there really was to it. Please don't kill Glenn. Alright, you're dead. Goodbye. Let's see, 67 HP on the Dark Eye, 74 attack, 22 defense, 55 agility, a Metal Babble. That's worth 1,000 experience if I can kill it before it runs away. Or I guess it can do that. 0 out of 64 evasion. They slightly resist the whack, heavily resist fire, dazzle, and kasap, and fully resist fizzle and snooze. This is what I'm talking about. Most enemies at this point in the game fully resist snooze. So you just can't put enemies to sleep the majority of the time. So it's just like a useless spell. It's like how a lot of bosses in Final Fantasy are immune to being poisoned. So it's sort of like... feels useless. I don't know. Alright, what are you? You're Orc King? What's your name in here? Orc King. Okay, that one's just literal. In both. I accidentally typed PRC and then I realized that if you just put a P in front of orc, it's pork, which is funny. To me, at least. Since Ganon is based on orcs and he's very pig-like in his bestial form. Alright, let's see. Orc King. How are you guys looking? You look like shit, Vario. HP 110, attack 99, defense 35, agility 60, evasion 164. I don't trust that. I feel like that's gonna make me fall. I'm just gonna ignore that, and hopefully that's not the way I'm supposed to go. Stairs. Gargoyle and Orc King. Well, we've seen gargoyles before. Let's see. Orc Kings, they slightly resist fire, dazzle, snooze, kasap, and they have decent resistance against thwack and fizzle. And the description reads, keen contrarians who rant and rave at their underlings for getting hurt, but can't help using more heal to make them better. Okay, so they're like tsunderes. Interesting. Heal more. We're already getting upsettingly low on magic. So I hope there's a place to replenish magic soon. One singular berserker. I can deal with that. I never looked up the berserker. I should do that now while it's on screen. Oh, they're just called berserkers. Okay. Let's see. They have 88 HP, 119 attack, 23 defense, 65 agility, 1 in 32 evasion, chest. Oh, I didn't go the right way. Unless this is what I'm here for. 2 green dragons and an attack bot. We have robots in this game? Fuck. Okay. Well, now I'm scared because dragons and attack bots sound like strong enemies. Let's see. Let me read the description for the berserkers, and then I'll look up these two. Berserker, swirling, whirling balls of monstrous, and I guess we are Dragon Warrior. Now I think about it, TBF. Can I just run from this fight? I don't know. It's a scary fight. I don't like it. I'm gonna cast Defeat on the green dragons and see if it does anything, and explode at. But oh no, it hit one dragon. That's cool. I'll take it. Attack bot gets to attack multiple times is some bullshit. Oh god. This isn't going well. Fuck. Okay, they're both dead. Everyone's dead. Oh shit. Wait, Glenn didn't. Why is Glenn resistant? Oh, is it because he has the water thing on? Okay. Well, I didn't like that. I don't like that the enemies went from very easy to holy fucking shit. But I do be like that in these old RPGs. Okay. Can I cast Heal More? Do I have enough for that? Yes, barely. Oh wait, no, it doesn't cost as much as I thought it did. Varia. We're out of weakening magic. So that's fun. Sarcasm. Yeah, Glenn has the water cape on, so I'm wondering if that's why Glenn was resistant to fire. Probably. Oh god. Okay, it's one singular berserker. It's gonna be easier just to kill it, I think, than trying to run away and potentially taking a bunch of damage. Okay, search. Is it anything good? The armor of Erdrick. Oh, okay, maybe that is good. Hold on. Who's got it? When? Oh. Waga, hand the Eye of Maroth to Varia, and then Varia, hand me that armor. I want to see if it's any good. Oh wait, no. I did the trade. Fuck. No, shit. Very easy to miss menu. Wait. Go back. Okay, it is slightly better. Well, I mean, I guess that's nice. I don't have enough magic for outside, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So my best bet is either to manage to get through the rest of this dungeon just by pure luck, or to try to leave. Which is, they're basically the same thing. I feel like I'm far enough into this dungeon, it won't make much of a difference either way. Okay. I don't know if there's any reason to keep the Sword of Erdrick, but there's probably no reason to keep the Gaia armor. I don't know if I should sell it for the money. We have a lot of money, so we don't really need it, but... Okay, I'm just going to run from all encounters that we get into going forward. And hope that, I don't know. Hope we survive. Gargoyle, actually, we can kill this guy. If it's one enemy and it's a weaker one, it's better to just kill it real fast. Because then we can basically guarantee no damage. Oh, that does remind me more about... Oh, lottery ticket? I don't want that. Throw that shit away. Metaphor is that, come on. Okay. Then can you one-shot this guy? Nope. Boom. Wagamite. Anyway, if you beat a battle without taking damage, you get extra experience and stuff. Which is nice. Especially because it's got the Paper Mario type thing where you can hit them to start the fight with an advantage, which in this case, all the enemies start off stunned and basically lose their first turn. Run, please. Nope, we failed. Fuck. Somebody dies, they're just dead at this point. There's nothing I can do. We need to go down these steps, or do I need to go up some steps? I don't know. I'm scared to go down and waste time. But I'm scared that maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. And by not going down, then I'm wasting more time. Wait, isn't this where I came from? I didn't think about that. I almost... Okay, wait, I think that's where we started. I think those are the steps we came up. I'm going to check the chests because we get lucky and get some healing, maybe. I don't know. I can help out. Fuck. I hate when they get... Okay, Glenn's just dead. So rip Glenn. Okay, I'm just going to try to have Wagamole kill this guy in one hit. I don't know if we can. Nope. Can we do it in two? Come on. Nice. Alright. I don't know. 121 pieces of gold. Useless. Oh god. Alright, can we run? Nope, run. Cool. Now the question is just how far can I make it before we all get killed. Best case scenario, I at least figure out, or worst case scenario, we've got an idea of where to go next time. Okay, we found another up. Okay, and now I'm in a big room full of stairs. So... fuck. Alright. This place has traps. Flame! Oh wait, those are the Hargonauts. Oh, the other guy was something else then. Oops. It's a problem with these games having recolors. I can't tell them enemies apart, barely. Just Dancing Flame or Frostburn. Red and blue, but the official art for these guys, one is orange and white, or yellow, really, and one is like blue and white, so I don't know. I'm gonna assume it's the Frostburn. Okay. Yeah. No, it is not. It is Dancing Flame. Because I can see the sprite on here. Its Japanese name is just Flame. Uremu. Run. 55 HP, 99 attack, 32 defense, 78 agility. What do I get out of here? There we go. Okay. Only resist fire, which fair enough. Heavily resists dazzle. Fully resist fizzle, slightly resist thwack, snooze, and kiss out. And its description is a human soul so consumed with rage that it was reborn as an incandescent flame. Wow. Silver bat boon. Yeah, I was gonna look up the dragon, but I guess we'll look up this guy. What are you called? Silvapithecus is, I believe, what its official name in English is. I think that's correct. The red hue added to the white parts of the screen makes it a little weird. Oh wait, that was probably why the flame guy looked weird, actually, now I think about it. Anyway, bye. Please let me run. Thank you. Alright. Oh my fucking god, damn it. Stupid pitfalls. Oh god, if we don't get to run, we're dead. We're dead. I'm just gonna read about the Silvapithecus, I guess. Or we get roasted. Rip. Okay, I said earlier that I don't think the game wants you to be max level, and I'm pretty confident that that's the case, but also they really want you to go super long distances with minimal, I don't know, not a lot of magic. I mean, in the speed run, they just ideally you just run from all the fights. least most of them. And he's just gonna move because I think this is where the shop is at. Oh, this is the lottery. Never mind. Is Lady the shop? Yes. You cannot sell property from a dead character, apparently. So fucked up. 38 pieces of gold. That's it? Why would I need it, though? They don't want you selling good equipment, and they don't, like, give you money for it, but, like, you don't have anywhere you can store it, either. As far as I'm aware, there's no pieces of equipment that, like armor and swords and stuff, that are required to beat the game. It's just that better stuff is helpful. Would the game let me sell stuff that's required to beat the game is the real question. I don't know with this game. I'm gonna sell this shit anyway. Fuck you. You can have the Sword of Erdrick. Go, I don't know, for 2 gold. Go sell that for like 10,000 GE. I'm sure someone will buy it. Armor of Gaia. 38 gold pieces. Wow. Amazing. Alright. I need you to fucking move out of my way, NPCs, please. That's also a thing that's like weirdly common in these old games, is NPCs that wander around at random. They're just constantly... Oh, why did I do that? In your way. It's weird because I'm surprised that the devs didn't realize that would get annoying on a regular basis. Or they thought it was funny and they were like, hey, it's like real life when you're at the store and somebody's just blocking the aisle and you kind of have to be like, excuse me. Or if you're introverted, you just stand there and wait for them to move. Or go the long way around is what I would do. Except there's not usually a long way around in this game. You just kind of have to stand there and wait for them to move. Alright, well, everyone's alive. Now we gotta go heal, and I'm gonna sell off any excess shit they got so we can buy medical herbs, so we don't have to use as much magic on healing. Did I ever read the Sylphopithecus thing? Also, their name in Japanese is Silver Devil. Or you just leave and never get what you came for, because I've done that. Honestly, if it's like... If the option is stand here... If my only options are talk to the person to make them move, or stand there for like more than 15 seconds, I will just leave too. If it's like a grocery store, I'll come back later after I buy other things. But if buying something requires me to talk to somebody, then I don't want to bother. I don't want it. Not worth it. Varia, Repel. Did we level up? Did any of our characters level up a single time in that whole crazy adventure? Also, I just realized it's been over an hour. My bad. I got really wrapped up in trying not to die. So it's break time. PRV. And then we died anyway, so rip. I-to-o. See, I said it different this time. Ah,
I wasn't supposed to scare you. I was supposed to scare chat.
you're right next to me.
But like,
Hmm.
they don't know that. I'm a ghost. Some people can't see ghosts.
That's true. Chat, can you see the ghost?
See,
okay.
Milkor was scared. Milkor's terrified.
Yeah. So scaly.
The scariest, actually.
Real? Wait. I don't remember how. I was just here and I already have to stop and remember which way we went.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is my ghost form so distracting?
Yes.
This is what dress codes are for, I suppose.
I mean, you know. Doesn't matter what you dress like. So I don't think that helps.
I don't know.
Mhm.
At
Okay,
least I can make
fair.
it hurt less. I can, like, not show a shoulder or an ankle.
Yeah, gasp. That would be awful. Oh yeah, wait. Oh god damn it, there was a hole. And my game's freaked out. Okay. Boom.
Okay, the game also doesn't like ankles. Goodness.
Apparently. Let's see. That was on me, to be fair. I was gonna put on. I had a cheat that I was using when I was grinding to get extra experience, and I was gonna turn it on, but for some reason, it's making the game act weird, even though it wasn't when I used it off stream. Oh,
Maybe it's shy.
Maybe. Maybe it doesn't hate ankles. Maybe it likes ankles, and that's what freaked it out.
You are so right. That's exactly what happens.
Mm-hmm. So, Emery, you heard of a movie? Just in general, you've heard of movies?
I think so. I've heard people talk about it, but honestly, I don't think it's real.
Same.
Like, do they just mean like a special episode? You know what I mean?
Right. Like how some shows have a pilot episode that's extra long.
Yeah. So I think movies are probably like a conspiracy.
You know what? Honestly, so true. Did I go down or did I go up? I went down. I wasn't supposed to go down, I don't think. Or am I? I'm confusing myself. No. Just go up. Shit. Okay, wait, where's... I gotta find the upstairs. Okay, it was down, if I remember right. So we only have to check half as many rooms. 3 Oswargs and an Oswarg. Amazing. I was gonna say, I was gonna talk about Isle of Dogs. I know, which is a movie about dogs on an island.
I'm surprised you haven't heard about it.
Why doesn't seem like something I would have seen.
I feel like it would have at least been something you would have heard about at the very least. Like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah, that also feels like, I mean, I heard about that one, but it when I watched that one, it was with Everything Everywhere. I was very like, this feels like something I should have seen, but nobody described it to me in a way that made me realize like how up my alley it was. Like everyone just went like, oh, it's so weird and like trippy, and I'm like, okay, cool. That doesn't mean anything. That's so, and everyone's descriptions of it were technically correct, but so vague that it didn't make the movie sound interesting.
Okay, but
You know what I
to
mean?
be fair, I also did not describe it to you. I just said, we're gonna watch this.
That's true.
So... But then again, like, I know what you would like, I suppose.
That is also true. My mind is an enigma, but you're like tapped in like the Matrix.
Correct.
Okay, now we're back here. So we went to the right and there wasn't anything over there, so I need to go up. I think. Yeah, no, yeah, I remember now. It's like all the way up at the top and then at the right. Anyway, I was gonna say though, like when Isle of Dogs like started, the opening premise of like the dogs on the island, I feel like that was one of those movies where like it seemed deceptively simple and it kept like building on top of itself without becoming overly complicated. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I totally agree.
Like, because when it's like, oh, they put the dogs on an island, I thought it was just going to be about how hard it is to survive on the dog island, and it was just going to be about the dogs. But then the kid showed up, and I was like, oh, it's going to be like one of those adventure things where like the movie's going to end when they get to the other part of the island and find spots. But then like there was even more to it after that. I don't know. It was cool though. Like it definitely helped it, you know, feel like there was something interesting happening like all the time.
I'm glad.
Hmm.
I couldn't even
Exhaust.
begin to describe this movie to you either. I'm just like, we're just gonna watch this one because it's just difficult to describe it without
fair.
like,
Spoiling
you
too
know.
much.
yeah, because it's especially because I would like watching things that aren't really like other things because I think it's interesting. So I couldn't
Right.
even compare it to anything else.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's the
Just
thing
that it was
about
like stop motion and quirky.
yeah, both of those movies have that thing of like you could kind of compare them to other things, but part of the fun of them is that they feel very themselves. Like if I were to describe a typical like rom-com anime, it would be easy to honestly I could just say it's a rom-com anime and anyone who watches those would know what I'm talking about. But if I read a specific rom-com anime that was like especially weird. Wait, there was a hole here. Where was it? I don't. Fuck. I said that and immediately fell in. Okay. But if it was like something weird, if it had like something unique about it, I feel like that's kind of why describing stuff is like to other people for them to watch can be like hard, because it's like, what do I say about it that makes it sound interesting and worth your time without, you know, giving away everything. Because also then if you start, even if it's someone who's fine with you spoiling it, if you just start describing plot events, it's like, but it's going to be way more interesting if you actually watch it. Like the way I describe it's not going to do it justice. So I don't know.
And then
The
like
irony.
I was gonna say a lot of the technicalities, because I could have also said, oh, it can get pretty political.
Mhm.
And it
But that
does
can
get
mean a lot of things.
political, you know? But it's like
Yeah.
not political in that way.
Right. It has politics, but it's done in its own sort of kind of like weird internal logic kind of way.
Hmm.
Like things happen with the politics that like would not work if you were trying to do a much more like realistic movie.
And I couldn't even like tell you who the voice actors were because
Mhm.
you would have no interest in it.
Oh no, yeah, because I don't watch live action stuff, and they're all like live action people.
And
I looked into
you were
that.
gonna be like, why?
Yeah.
Why would I watch this if these people are voicing it? I'm like, no, you don't understand. So I just told you nothing and just
Mhm.
hope for the best.
a lot of those guys like Bill Murray and stuff, apparently they just like, I don't remember the director's name, but apparently they just appear in like a bunch of his movies just like all the time.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I guess you should chill with all those guys.
I didn't know that.
Hmm.
I have to probably look into more of who voiced things. The next Wes Anderson film I would like to get you into is Fantastic Mr. Fox, if you haven't seen it.
Oh no, I haven't seen, up until Isle of Dogs, I hadn't seen a single Wes Anderson film.
Because after
So-
we see that film, then I can tell you, hey, this is what is typically in a Wes Anderson film, and then you'll be able to see it, and it'll be really
Mhm.
fun.
Cool. I'm down. I liked Isle of Dogs, so I mean, I'm down. I feel like I was gonna say that the irony with what I was saying about how it's hard to describe stuff to people is that when people tell me to play a game or watch a movie or read a manga, I'm probably not gonna have any interest unless something about what they say or like a very quick like search of it shows me something very like, oh wait, I see this thing, and that immediately makes me want to read it or watch it or play it. Also, we're about to get fucking killed again. Maybe. They keep casting spell or sleep, and it's really annoying.
I'm
Trying to run
currently
away
trying to
again.
find coats for cats.
Coats for cats.
Mhm.
Sounds epic. Whack-a-mole's fucking dead.
Has there been something someone has recommended to you that you didn't think you'd like but ended up liking?
Definitely, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'd have to like look through stuff that I've like watched or played. Hold on, let me resurrect this guy. Heal him. Alright, cool. Guess if I really wanted to cheese this game, I could save state. Use save states so we can just never get to a fight. Let me pull up my anime list and look through some of the manga I've read. God damn it. One step. Let's see. There's a lot on here, so I'm gonna have to scroll a little
There's
bit.
so much. You're so well versed and so like cool.
Read so much manga. I read so much manga that I've been reading less manga this year because I was like, almost everything I read now, I'm like, oh, it's just like this other thing I've already read, but not as interesting. I feel like
That is
there
why
is
my goal is to show you things that I think you would have never seen.
You're good at it so far.
I'm good at it, period. I don't plan to fail.
That's
Because
fair.
if I think I fail, or you say that I fail, we're gonna have problems.
I will be deceased.
Oh, you
Or
think it's
disappear,
gonna
one
be
of the
that
two.
simple? No, it's not gonna be that simple.
I'm gonna say something I forgot. Oh, I feel like sometimes I do have like a thing, especially with manga, when I kind of realize that like I keep reading manga and going, oh, I'm not super invested because I feel like I've read other things exactly like this already, and this isn't doing anything unique compared to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I feel like there's something nice to being more casual, like in a specific medium, because you get a lot less of that. Where, you know, like if you only watch like a movie once every few months, then you're probably not so well versed in movies that you're constantly like, you know, noticing new things. Or if you don't read a lot, I don't know, it's kind of like a weird bag of like, you have to read. If you, the less you read, I feel like every time you read a new book or watch a new movie, you're kind of rolling the dice on if you're gonna like it or not.
No, that makes sense.
But the more you read or watch movies or stuff, you're also kind of like getting so used to it that sometimes it can be hard to find stuff that feels particularly fresh or interesting. So it you know, it's like pros and cons. Anyway, but yeah, I'm very like, if somebody recommends something to me, I will like probably not actually have any interest. I guess it also depends though, to be fair. Like it does depend on like the person and how close we are and how much I respect their opinions. Like if someone recommends me something and I check that one thing out and don't like it, I'm just going to assume everything they ever recommend me again is gonna like not be to my tastes. So
How dare you know other people and like their opinions?
I would never.
Since when do you know people?
I just know chat.
Fake Hikamori here. You even go outside.
I know.
You know what the
I wish I
sun is?
didn't. Let's see.
I cannot find this last coat. This cat is going to be cold.
No. Cat. Oh wait, I just realized I never bought all those metal parts I wanted to buy. But oh well. Really, it's fine.
Who's Shirley?
Shirley Temple, you know.
Oh, the drink.
Yeah.
I love Shirley Temples. I like making my own though.
I feel like there's a weird thing to making your own drinks where it's like, even when it doesn't taste as good necessarily, it's still better. Does that make sense? Like,
Well, yeah, because you're not paying
it
like $15 for
that
glass.
is so true.
I think that's what the taste is. Saving
honestly,
money.
That's probably exactly what it is. I was gonna say that it's just satisfying to just be able to make it at home and then just, you know, relax. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm not like the biggest fan of going out to bars and stuff though. You know.
I don't understand bars.
Me neither. I mean, I feel like at one point, way back when, you'd have like the local tavern, and that was like where people went to hang. Like you didn't really hang out at people's houses. You went. Did I just go in a circle? I think I just went in a circle. I don't like this floor already. Fun. Nice. Anyway.
See, but like when I think tavern, I think like It's
Mhm.
warm. There are places to sit. There's like you can see and
Oh
you
yeah,
can
well
hear
that's what I was gonna
people,
say.
you know?
Is that I think bars, or it started off as taverns, and it was like a local thing, and like
Mm.
it was like people. It was all people you knew already. But now it's like, to me, the idea of going to a bar to meet people is like baffling. Like, why would I just go meet random drunk strangers at this really loud place where there's probably nowhere to sit down?
And you can't see because it's dark.
True.
And things are sticky. And I hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't people be normal and just like meet someone off the internet?
Agreed. That's where I meet all my people these days. Not that I meet people.
That's what I thought. That's crazy.
And hypothetically speaking. if I did meet
Hypothetically
people.
speaking.
Let's see. I need to keep going through. I'm gonna get distracted and never actually go through all these manga.
I'm sorry. I'll put the shoulders away.
Thank you. I got recommended JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but I feel like, and I like it, but I feel like my favorite and least favorite parts don't really line up with like the average person that I hear talk about it. Like, people really love part 3 and part 7, and part 3 is my least favorite part, and part 7 is like in the middle probably for me.
Interesting.
So I guess that's like not quite the same thing, but like because of how JoJo is broken up into different parts, it's like different series, in the same franchise, more like than it is like one long running series show. But yeah, my favorite part is 2 and my second favorite part is 4, and 2 is pretty popular, but 3 and 7 generally are the ones I hear people talking about as being like the top ones. And excuse me. Oh shit, we made it. Let's go. I'm safe stating just in case. All right. And then a lot of people, 4 seems to be kind of like in the middle or towards the bottom for a lot of people. They're not like a big fan of it for some reason, but I thought it was fun. It's like it all takes place inside one town instead of being like a wacky adventure like a lot of across different places, like a lot of other JoJo things are. To be fair, part 8 does the same thing, but it takes place in like an alternate reality version of the exact same town, so I guess that's kind of why. What is this? Anyway, I just think it's interesting that like it was a hit and a miss in the sense that like I didn't like the parts that I imagine someone recommending it to me would expect me to like, but I did like it. So I am healed. Maybe. Did that heal me? There was like a flash. Yes, I would love to save my game. Thank you. Alright, cool. Save state. Bam. Anyway, what do you have to say, lady, actually, before I go on? Anything? This travel door takes one back to the underworld. That is I wish, please enter. What is the underworld? Anyway, moving on. 3 blizzards. Why are they called blizzard? They're called frostburns in Jap, or their official name is frostburn. What is their? Wait, now I kind of want to check. Because there's
Now
still
I kind of
fire.
want a blizzard from Dairy Queen.
Oh, but Dairy Queen. Those are good. Here we go. Okay. It is called blizzard in Japanese. That's stupid because it's made of fire. I don't like that. They did a bad job naming it.
Should we write a strongly worded letter?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's
I'll
the
get the
guy?
stationery.
Who made this? Hori. Oh, wait, no, am I getting the name right? Maybe mixing up with someone else. Hold on. Dragon Quest. Yuji Horii, that's it. Alright, yeah, I'm coming for you, motherfucker. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know. That was the first one I saw. And I just was like, that's kind of not quite the same thing, but it's interesting, I suppose, in a sense. Let me look at some more of these. Actually, I need to heal first. Alright, where the fuck is this stupid wizard's castle? I need to use the fucking eyeball again. I might actually. Old Bat Boons. Let me do that. Where's? Oh wait, I think I gave it to Varia. Hold on. He's the key user. Fuck. Okay, what about over here? Wong. Interesting. That is probably the most Akira Toriyama monster in this entire game, actually. Like that looks like something that Goku would have fought in Dragon Ball. Let's see. I am Maroth. Nothing happened. Shit. What about over here? Oh wait, I didn't even realize there was a whole area over here. Maybe this is where the castle is. I'm just gonna keep walking and we'll find it eventually. 4 hunters. I guess the problem with manga is that I read so much manga. A lot of these are like ones I found myself. I'm kind of realizing it's not a medium that people tend to recommend me stuff in.
Then how about, are there any mangas that you thought you would like more or wish that you liked?
One sec. Let me sort it by score so I can see, like, look at some of the lower scoring ones. I think I've talked about this before, about how when I first really got into reading manga, I read One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach, all like back to back. I read One Piece, yeah, that order, I think. One Piece, Naruto, Bleach. Maybe it was One Piece first, I remember for sure. And I just, because everyone always talks about Naruto, I just kind of assumed it would be the best one. And I didn't think I'd like One Piece because the guy who makes Fairy Tail took a lot of artistic inspiration from Oda, the guy who made One Piece. And I didn't like Fairy Tail, and I thought they were by the same guy. Wait a second. Okay. We need to do it outside. Okay, I know his castle's like an illusion. I don't know where I need to use the item to like break it. What? Okay, let me see what I need to do. Oh, the Charm of Rubus. I thought it was the eye that I need to use here. Who has the charm of Rubus? You. Bam, bam. With one hand, Glenn held aloft the charm of Rubus. Glenn could hear a voice drawing near.
Glenn, be not deceived by false visions.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back. Welcome back.
Okay, fantastic. My Wi-Fi is going in and out, so if I suddenly disappear like a ghost, I am still here, but I'm not here.
Spooky.
But I did hear what you were saying, so
Okay. I
that's
wasn't
all that
looking at
matters.
chat, so I didn't see you screaming about your Wi-Fi.
How dare you not sense that I was in chat?
I heard you cut off,
Crazy.
and I was like debating if I should stop, but I was like, but you cut off on the last word of a sentence, and I was like, I should probably just be quiet so I can give my response. I don't remember what I was talking about now. Oh, I was talking about how I read One Piece and didn't think I'd like it, but ended up being one of my favorite manga, even to this day. And I thought Naruto would be the best one, but out of those three, One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, I thought it was the worst one. So that was interesting. I thought Naruto would be at least like a 6 or a 7 out of 10 for me. But it was like 3. Go in there. Is there anything in there? I want to know. No. Let's see. Look through some of the like lower ranking ones. There's a manga that's kind of infamous that a lot of people liked the first arc the best, and that every subsequent arc sort of got worse, and then by the end it was just like everyone was just like, wow, this. Well, I guess not everyone. There are people who really, really like it, but that's true of everything if it's popular enough. But it's called Promised Neverland. And
Yes, I've been recommended that.
yeah, I don't recommend it because I think the only part that's like a must read is the first arc, so I guess you could read that part. I remember reading the final arc as it was coming out and just being like, this fucking sucks. Like, this is so lame. Just everything happening, I didn't like it at the end. A lot of people, like if you go look up people talking about it online, that's basically the consensus, is that people are just like, yeah, it started off amazing, and then the next couple arcs were like still pretty good, and then things started getting pretty shaky, and then the final couple arcs were just like really bad. I see what I gotta do. So it was not great. So I wouldn't recommend it unless you were okay with, like, I don't know, like unless you're okay with like starting something and then as soon as you get bored being like, I'm just not gonna read anymore. But I feel like with books and stuff, I mean, I guess you kind of know how I am with like wanting to finish things once I start it. But for me, it always feels weird to start something knowing that I'm not going to finish it. Like if somebody tells me, oh, this anime is really good for 2 seasons and don't watch anything past that, then I'm like, I don't know if I want to watch any of it then, because like it feels weird to just watch like the first 2 seasons and then stop.
That makes sense.
Or like because like if you compare that to like a book, it's like if I was like, read this book but stop after chapter 32, you'd be like, what? Like, why don't I just finish it? Oh no, it's bad after that. Yeah, but like I already read to chapter 32. I mean, you could just finish the book. No, don't do it. Bad. I don't know, it just feels weird. Honestly, I think it makes more sense with games than it does any other medium. In a weird way. But okay. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe for some people it wasn't like, I think it really probably depends on who you talk to. For me, I felt like it was because it felt like each arc was like less interesting than the last, then it sort of, by the time it got to the end, it was like my opinion on it was like, I wish it had been like the first 2 or 3 arcs, and then it had just kind of ended on like not a cliffhanger per se, but like open ending, you know. There's a lot of, but I feel like with manga that's very common because of the like serialized format, where like even if the author has like an idea of where the series is going to go at the end, they're still kind of, they're not, you know, when you write a book, you write the whole book generally before you release it, but if it's a serialized story, you're putting it out like one chapter at a time. So no matter how much planning you had beforehand, you're still kind of doing it, writing it week by week, you know, one chapter at a time. But anyway, I feel like a lot of manga, if they go on for too long, will have like that point where you're like, I would rather the story have ended, just kind of like stopped like a while ago and just kind of not, you know, I'd rather the story have just stopped and not finished the plot, as opposed to it continuing on and then getting bad, you know what I mean? Or like that's how I feel, at least, about a lot of manga that end up going on for too long. So I don't know. That's how I feel about that one. Is I feel like I would have rather it like just suddenly ended after one of the earlier arcs, and then never gotten to the point where like it became infamous for how like much people don't like the last bit. So that's my opinion on that. I'm sure I'm going to assume, I don't know who recommended it or how many people, but I'm going to assume whoever it was probably is of the opinion that, different from me, they're probably in the camp of either they don't think the ending's that bad, or they think it's like the opening bits are good enough to make up for it, basically. I don't know. But my personal opinion, I don't know, it doesn't really, I think you probably would like the opening bit. It's like pretty dark, but it has some interesting stuff. I think you would like parts of it, I would say, but you definitely wouldn't like a lot of the later stuff. Like, if you were gonna check it out, I didn't watch the anime, so I don't know where season 1 ends, but there's a good chance that it would be one of those anime where you just watch the first season and don't bother with the other seasons. Kind of like how I know you say you've done that before, because you don't really like sequels a lot of time.
I don't.
Which is fair. I think a lot of series do get run into the ground as they get more and more sequels. Don't kill Glenn, please. Thank you. Never mind. Okay, well, Glenn's the only one who can res anyone, so that sucks.
Honestly, but I'm also have the unique problem that a lot of the time people recommend us stuff because they want content similar to it.
I didn't think about that. That's true. I imagine that's probably why you get a lot of the recommendations you do. Yeah. I don't really, I mean, I guess I kind of see what you might do with it, but it doesn't, I don't know, because demons, I guess, and being held captive and stuff. So I kind of get it, but I don't know. I'm going to assume the recommendation is probably more along the lines of not just wanting similar content, but probably hoping you'll like do AU stuff. I don't know, though. Hard to say. I guess it would depend on who recommended it and yada yada, all that stuff.
Yeah. So that's usually how it is. A lot of the time it's not like, I think you guys would like this. I feel like a lot of the time is, hey, you should make content similar to this or content off this, and I'm like,
Right.
cool.
Mhm.
Maybe.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Lost. Nope. Fun. I'm gonna pass something. If I use return, does it take me back there? Because if so, that's gonna be useful. It does. Nice. Alright, cool. Let's see. In the section of my manga, at least, that like I would give like a 5 out of 10, and it's kind of just a lot of like, honestly, a lot of it's stuff I didn't really have any knowledge of before going in. Oh, there was one manga called The Hunters Guild Red Hood, and I really like the art style. Let me look it up. I'll put it on stream. But I didn't think the manga was actually that interesting. God damn it, Whack-A-Mole's dead. Okay, cool, thanks. Let's see, Red Hood. Oh, they can just cast defeat. Okay, that's why. I was like, how did Whack-A-Mole die so fast when I wasn't looking? They can just insta-kill you. That's how. Alright, here we go. Good thing it happened literally on the tile. But anyway, there's what it looks like. But I was not a fan of the story. So it was very like okay. And then that person did come back and do a different manga, and that one didn't get to go on for very long. Because Red Hood got canceled like pretty fast, and then they had another manga that came out more recently that also got canceled. It did a little better, but I would like to see them have a manga that does well, just because I like their art style. And I did like their more recent manga more, but is what it is. Jujutsu Kaisen's another one where I liked it and then I didn't. There's a specific point, like about halfway through the story, where I feel like it wasn't even gradual. It was like, I'm having a good time. One arc ends, the next arc starts. I'm no longer having a good time. This is boring and I don't care. Which was very annoying. IMO. It just kind of fell off really hard for me, personally. Just the whole direction of the story was not interesting to me. Let's see. Platinum End is one I thought I would like more because it's by the two people who made Death Note, and I really liked Death Note when I was a teenager. But it was just sort of like, okay. It was not super interesting. That one is like all the main characters get chosen by angels, and the angels are like basically they're whoever's candidate that they pick that wins, that person becomes God, like the next god. And they get a handful of powers. One of which is just like if you shoot someone with a white arrow, they die. then there's a red arrow, which makes someone like not fall in love with you, but they'll basically like do whatever you tell them and stuff. And then the third ability was wings, which just lets you fly, you know. And you know, if you kill someone, or if they give you, you can kill someone to take their abilities, or they can just give it to you themselves. And I don't know, it was just sort of okay. I didn't feel like they did anything particularly interesting with it. It was not. I feel like there's parts of One Piece that definitely like, or not One Piece, sorry, of Death Note, where I would say that in the latter half, I do think it falls off a little bit. But in the first half, Death Note is, I think, still holds up really well. I still like the second half of Death Note, but I think it's like noticeably weaker than the first half, in my opinion. God, the enemies here are insanely powerful. There's no way that they expect you to beat the game at such a low level, or at level 30, but at the same time, the amount of experience it takes to level up, even from 30 to 31, is like an hour of grinding. Kind of crazy. Anyway, I'm just gonna run from the fights. Fuck you guys. I don't want to fight you. What was I saying? Oh,
Death Note?
yeah, Death Note. I think a lot of Death Note still holds up really well.
Mm.
You know what? I'm gonna cheese it. But I thought Platinum End just overall was kind of boring. Which was disappointing because Death Note was like one of the first anime I really got into as a teen.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely went into it like assuming I would really like Platinum End, but it was just very middle of the road. Which is probably more disappointing than a lot of the other things that were middle of the road or I didn't like, because, you know, when someone like a creator that you like, you know about, and you already know you like their stuff, when they make something and you don't like it, it's a little more like, oh man, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. That's my feelings on Platinum End. Run away. Nice. Let's see. Attack on Titan. I read, but I kind of knew. I watched the anime when it first came out, and I was into it at first. Like, I thought it kind of seemed interesting because I thought they were gonna do some really cool, like, things with like subverting typical like shonen tropes, because the main character Eren is like getting set up to be like, you know, your typical protagonist, and then in like the second or third episode he gets eaten by one of the Titans, and I was like, and then it kind of focuses on his sister Mikasa for an episode or two, and I was like, oh shit, they like totally flipped the script, and it's like the girl you thought was just the like sidekick love interest, they're like sister and brother, but like not actually, but they do get together in the end. It's a whole thing, I guess. They grew up together, I guess I should say. They're sister and brother in that they met when they were like 8, and then Mikasa got adopted into the family because fucked up shit happened to her when she was a kid, yada yada. Anyway, but yeah, she's clearly like the love interest character. So you think she's just gonna be the female love interest, which she does end up just being the female love interest for the most part. I mean, she's still kind of badass, but like Anyway, separate topic. It felt like they were gonna make her the main character though, and I was like really hyped because I was like, holy shit! Like they totally flipped it. That's really cool. And then no, Eren comes back, and it turns out that he can actually turn into a Titan, and him getting eaten is fine because he's still alive. And it was a fake out. He's not actually dead. And then I was like, oh well, that's stupid. I hate that. I don't like that they pretended to kill off the main character just to bring him back 2 episodes later and be like, just kidding, he is the main character. Ha ha ha. I feel like a lot of people really like that like sort of double twist, but I really hated it. And immediately was like, okay, well, I don't care about anything happening in the story anymore. And then eventually, I still watched the first season, and then I just kind of ignored Attack on Titan for a while, and then eventually, like, I think like literally, I don't know if it had already ended or if they had announced that it was like the manga was about to end, but I was like, all right, I'll go read it out of curiosity because I know people for the most part love Attack on Titan. And then I read the whole thing, and I was like, cool, it's extremely mid, and I don't really know why everyone loves it. It was better than Naruto, but it was a similar thing of like, why is this the one that everyone talks about? You know? And that was when it became clear to me everyone else just has bad taste. Except for me. And you.
You're so not biased.
Not at all.
Not even
All right.
a little bit.
Not even the tiniest amount. Let's see. Well, now I'm into like 6 out of 10, so I feel like at that point, it's like I can't even say I don't like it. It's just that it's just kind of like slightly better than average. So I feel like we're
Okay,
kind
so
of,
how does your ranking work in your head? Like, what does a 1 mean to you versus
I've
a
never
5
rated a
versus
1
a 10?
because I've never, in my opinion, I've never read anything that's so bad that a 1 is like this. Well, 1 is so bad that you think about this on a regular basis and you get just randomly remember how bad it is and you get mad about it for the rest of your life. Like constantly, like you can never forget. The lowest I've ever ranked is a 2, and it was a short-lived like comedy manga that wasn't funny at all, that ran in Shonen Jump, and it was like the most like it was a mix of like the jokes. Not only are the jokes not funny, but they're so unfunny, and they feel like it's constantly trying to make you laugh constantly, that every time a joke was attempted, it made me mad because I was like, that's so not funny and you're trying so hard that I'm just like mad at you for even attempting that joke in the first place. And it just like the art was not particularly good in my opinion, which on its own, I've read stuff with like where it's like, you know, they're not the best artists, but you know, there's a lot of other aspects to a manga. I mean, Mob Psycho's manga is like definitely not one of the best in terms of like overall skill level, which is probably partially why a lot of the characters, and when you know how in there a lot of there's not a lot of characters that are like typically attractive aside from like a handful. Like I would argue Reagan is meant to be like more, you know, typically attractive guy. Or I can't remember her name, Mob's Crush. I feel like she's meant to be a more like typical cute anime high school girl. Or wait, they're in middle school, whatever, same deal. In anime there's no difference, they all look the same. I feel like a thing I've noticed across anime is you have teenager, adult, old person, and child, and there's just like no in, but if like 2 adults look the same, even if one's 21 and one's like 34. That's not true. There's like two types of adults. There's adult that looks young and adult that looks middle-aged, but like some anime, the adult that looks middle-aged will be like 24. But they have like they're very grizzled and they look like, you know, worn. I don't know. The whole thing. Anyway, I think it's just a product of the style. But for me, a 1 is like this it's so bad that it changes how you view the medium forever. That like
Okay.
you base everything you read the same way that like a 10 would be like, this is the gold standard that everything else should be trying to be. A 1 is like, you should be trying to be anything but this. Like if I see something, you do something and it reminds me of that other thing that I rated a 1, then I'm like, how fucking dare you? Like, how
That's
you just
so
committed a
funny.
sin. But I've never read anything that's so bad that I'm like, this is
So 1
like,
is like offensively bad.
Yes,
Like you're
yes.
offended.
yeah.
Okay.
1 is so bad that I would go around telling people that they should read it because of how bad it is. But they should do it without giving money to the original creator, because I don't want to support it and have them make more bad stuff. I think a 1 would also have to be like offensive in like the sense of like, I think it would have to have like really offensive political stuff too. Like, I think the problem with ranking, my idea of a 1 ranking, is I would know that I wouldn't like it before I touched it, you know? Like, I don't think I could be convinced to read something that I would end up hating that much, because I feel like it would be so obvious that I wouldn't like it before I ever touched it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, I don't know if I'll ever actually read a manga that's a 1, because I think I would pick it up. Actually, I will say I don't rank stuff on my anime list when I drop it. Like if I decide to not finish it, I remove my score, because my argument is that like I know what I would rank it, but I don't like putting a score on a thing that I haven't finished and am not planning on finishing, because that's just how I like to do my anime scores. Because again, my argument is basically like, I'm never gonna finish it, so like for all I know, it actually could have gotten better or worse. But if I decide I'm not gonna finish it, so there are some things where I've read the first chapter and it was really bad, and those things could have gone on to be a 1, but I disliked the first chapter or 2 so much that I just didn't touch it again. So, you know. I guess that's maybe another issue. I feel like I'm more likely to find anime or movies that I would rank a 1 than I am a manga, because with manga it's really easy to read one chapter and go, I didn't like that, and you just don't start the next chapter, because they're broken up into such bite-sized pieces, you know. At least that's how I see it. I don't know.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So damn. But yeah, a 2 is like, I guess like I actually kept reading it for some reason, but I didn't like it. And it annoyed me the whole time. Like it made my mood worse to read. But it was like just good enough that I could convince myself not to put it down. Although, to be fair, going back to what I said, I think if something was a 1, I almost wonder if I would keep reading it because of how bad it is, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so mad. I'm so, like, upset about how bad it is that I would just, like, keep reading, because I'm like, I gotta know what happens next.
Honestly,
because it's so bad.
That's how I am with, like, dark romance and smut novels. They get really bad.
Yeah.
Like, offensively bad.
I can see that for sure. Let's see. Oh, God damn it. Let's see. That reset. You can't revive mid-battle? That's stupid. Okay. Oh, I'm starting the battle over. Alright. increase. That's all right. I feel like 3 is kind of like 3 out of 10 is an interesting area because it's like it has the qualities of a 1 or a 2, where it's like this makes me mad and offends me. But there'll be like little bits. There'll be like certain parts of the story where I read it and I go, you know what? It's actually pretty good. I actually like that. Good job. Do more of that. And then I keep reading and I don't do more of that. So, you know. Like when I read Fairy Tail, I was hate reading it, and it could have easily been a 2 or a 1. But there was like one specific arc that like I would just that arc alone, I would probably rate like a 7. And it made me more mad when I finished it because I was like, that was genuinely like really good and felt like, you know, competent. And then you went back to your stupid bullshit that I hate. So that was a whole thingy. But yeah, I definitely spent most of my time with, damn it. Okay. I spent most of my time with Fairy Tail hate reading it, but then there would be like little bits where I'd be like, that was cool. Do more of that. But they were like so far spaced apart, that I would like be hate reading it, and then something cool would happen, and then I'd go back to hate reading it. Can you hit these guys with defeat? Let me look this guy up actually. Hold on. Let me see if he resists this, because if he doesn't, then it would be easier to just keep spamming it until I kill him. Is Fizzle the one? Oh, he resists everything except Dazzle, which is the one that lowers your chance to hit, I think. Yeah. Oh wait, he doesn't resist Kasap. What is Kasap? Oh, reduces defense. Okay. So no, you can't one hit KO this guy. Well, that sucks. But yeah, so a 3 is like, it's just good enough. It's got little glimmers of like things that it's a mix of like, that was actually cool, or that was a cool idea, but the way you did it was stupid, and I wish someone else with better writing chops had done it instead. I don't know if you've ever had that. You like read or watch something and you're like, on paper this is cool, but the way you did it was like awful, and I'm mad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because there are so many books that have fantastic premises, or like dark romance books that have fantastic premises.
Right.
And then they ruin it by being like too horny, or by being too edgy.
Literally that, both of those. Anytime there's a good idea and it's bad, there's like it's annoying because like the guy who made Fairy Tail, he puts a ton of emphasis on like especially the like pervy horny stuff with where like characters constantly get their. The one thing I will give this guy is that yes, the women's clothes get fucked up and you see them barely clothed with like, you can see their panties, and they have to use their arms to like cover their nipples, so it's not like, you know, full on 18 plus, because their shirts get ripped off. But also the men will go into battle and then 5 seconds later their shirts are ripped off and they're like sweaty and shirtless and wrestling each other. So I'm like, you know what, like, he does do it to the men, but it's still annoying that like every time a fight starts, it's all right, everyone take damage, you can get naked.
Crazy.
And also just in general, like there's most of the jokes are like ha 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 sex, basically. And it just gets really annoying really fast. I don't find the humor in any of his works to be entertaining, like, at all. And I specifically remember there's one character named Wendy. I don't know how old she is, but she looks like she can't be more than like 12 or 13. And she has that like, oh no, I'm getting attacked and my clothes are getting ripped off. And I remember she had like a really important a fight that was supposed to be really important to her character. And I'm sitting there like, I cannot take any of this seriously because like I'm just baffled that you have this character like half naked during this when she looks like 12. Like at least most of the characters are like 18 plus and have like, you know, very over the top like huge boobs and stuff. So it's like, well, okay, like sure, adult women who are very clearly like adult women, that's fine. Or they're you know, but then with her it was like I was sitting there like I'm just mad that like this is happening at all. I don't know. Like, and I'm supposed to take anything that's happening seriously right now. And that's still true of like even the adult women though, is like they'll be having like a super deep moment and it's like you just spent half the chapter making jokes about how like their clothes are getting ripped off and stuff. And they're almost naked. And now you want me to take anything that's happening seriously. I don't know. It's it has a lot of tonal whiplash, like in that regard, where like it tries to be funny. They try to throw in at least a couple jokes every chapter, even if it's a more like serious chapter. And I feel like that's a problem a lot of shonen manga have because they're aimed at like preteen and teen, and or some of them are aimed younger, but those ones are usually more very comedy focused more than anything. But I feel like shonen manga can have an issue often of like tonal whiplash of like they throw in a lot of things that are definitely there to like pander to the younger readers, but then it just like makes it hard to stay like, you know, immersed in anything that's happening and yada yada. But I mean, there's a lot of things about what the fuck. Where do I go? I'm lost. Rip. Anyway. Oh wait, I found it. Never mind. Pazuzu. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like that's a whole problem I have with a lot of shonen is they like ecchi humor, and like lowbrow humor is very big. And I find that for me at least, if I may, you know, I'm gonna take a sip of my cup of tea and hold out my pinky, but I generally find it to be just more annoying and kind of takes me out of like the enjoyment of what is good or interesting, that when they just like drop stuff like that in. So I don't know. I feel like the humor in most shonen does not appeal to me. So, you know, what the fuck? Why are we? Oh, damn it. Okay. Okay, I was wondering why the screen turned red. It's because they used defeat. Anyway, that's a whole. I could go on about like what I don't like about like what things in shonen that I see in a lot of shonen manga, and I'm pretty sure, I honestly am convinced that a lot of things like, oh, you gotta have a female character who's like scantily dressed enough to like catch the eyes of the 13-year-old boys who are reading or flipping through the manga and might not, you know, it's all about like things of like how do you get people to actually read your manga, but a lot of the methods they do probably work pretty well, because I don't think they would keep doing them in like basically every manga if they didn't work, but at the same time it kind of makes it annoying to read. But even then, when I think about it, even with like stuff aimed at adult audiences, they still do that. They're just even more explicit about it because they can get away with more. So I don't know. It's kind of just a whole issue with manga in general, I guess. Like, because I feel like I've definitely read story, like when we did the fake anime thing, and I was like, oh yeah, what's it called, Master of Masturbation or whatever. And I brought that up, and I was like, okay, but wait, listen, it's good though. Like, you can tell stories about like you know, more risque topics and have it be really interesting with a lot of like, or you can have stuff that has like ecchi jokes or lowbrow jokes, but like it's still like, I don't know, fits with like, there's a way to weave that stuff in that doesn't take you out of it. But I feel like a lot of the time they don't manage to pull that off. You know. So
I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once had a lot of sexual humor.
That's true,
and
but that
adult
didn't
humor
bother me
as well.
Yeah, I guess that's the thing, is that like, it's not that it's not inherently bad, and there's definitely stuff that like does it fine. But even like stuff I like One Piece, one of Sanji's gimmicks is that he just really likes women, and he like simps super hard for women, and he's just kind of just like a generally a pervy guy towards women. And like early on it really wasn't that bad, but it just got worse over time, and it's to the point where like basically everyone I know who likes One Piece, when you bring up that kind of thing, like, oh yeah, Sanji in modern One Piece, when he does this ecchi thing, they're like, oh yeah, no, it's just annoying. I just kind of wish that Oda would stop having those moments like in the story at all. So, but I mean, you know, again, that goes to show though, because I still really, really like One Piece, that you can have, I mean, we've talked about this before, I feel like, how you can have stuff in a thing that you don't like, but you can still really, really like it. And sometimes being able to like identify the things you don't like about something just comes from liking it. Like, because you like something a lot, you just know it really well, so you're very aware of the things you don't like about it. So, you know, there's plenty of things I've read that have like, that lean really into like lowbrow or ecchi humor in it, that I still like a lot. But a lot of the time, in a lot of series, at least for me, it usually ends up being annoying enough or distracting enough that it's enough to make me just be like, yeah, no, thank you. I'm bored, or I'm put off by mediocre writing. I don't know. I feel like that's a whole thing when it comes to stuff in general, and I'm sure you have similar. Okay, it didn't work because it didn't go red. Okay. Things like when you read like you were saying before, like some of them just get so horny or so ecchi that it just kind of ruins it. Or not ecchi, edgy.
Well, both.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It just be like that, I guess. I don't know. I guess that's the thing. I guess really, it's more of a like, if you read enough manga, especially when I'm reading like, I always try out everything that runs in Shonen Jump. I'll give it at least a few chapters just to see how I feel about it. And I feel, so that is, to be fair, a thing where it's like, well, because I'm doing that, I'm just kind of inevitably gonna end up reading a lot of manga I don't like, because obviously I'm not gonna like a lot of stuff in the manga or in the magazine, just by, you know, chance and stuff. All right, 2 down. Too much save stating cheese, but it's fine. We did it. I win. But yeah, so I don't remember. I think I went on that tangent specifically because I started talking about Fairy Tail. Fairy Tail is one of the worst about it, where like that guy's stuff is, he throws those weird jokes in constantly, and like I said, he has like, there'll be at least 2 pages in any given chapter that are dedicated just to trying to be funny, no matter what the tone of the chapter is, and it can get really annoying for me. So that's the whole thing. But anyway, I'm gonna pull up my anime because I feel like I probably have more anime than I do manga that I am not a big fan of, or specifically that I'm not a fan of and someone recommended to me, because I've been recommended a lot more anime than I have manga, I would say. Let me sort by score. Do you have anything you can think of off the top of your head that like someone recommended and then you were like, I really don't like this?
Honestly, wait, give me a second. Just give me a second. Hang on. Okay. Honestly, we get recommended a lot of visual novels. It is very hard to hold my tongue sometimes.
That's fair.
And like, I understand the parts that I would like, but overall it's so bad that I'm offended.
That someone recommended it.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I think we played one, Kingdom of Marionettes. Art style was beautiful. Premise was really cool. But I could not get over how many typos there were.
Oh, really?
Like, it was just not... I cannot stand. And it's one thing if it's like, oh, English isn't my first language kind of thing, right?
Right.
Because even then, usually those people, as someone whose English, whose language wasn't English, those people usually are very careful, and if anything, the English ends up coming out a lot more formal.
Right.
But this was just bad. It was just bad. So a lot of the visual novels that people recommend us sometimes don't have strong writing. They just have pretty looking characters, and it kills me every single time. Because I'm like, do you not know who I am?
Well, yeah, I would generally, I feel like if I recommended a visual novel to you guys, especially if I was going for yandere, my first thought would be on the writing, because you know, you guys do role plays. Because I don't know, but I do feel like that is a thing I have noticed, is that for some people the writing doesn't need to be good. It just needs to be whatchamacallit? It just needs to have a pretty character.
So yeah, and I understand, like, you can make mistakes, right? You're gonna miss a period, a comma, you're gonna accidentally misspell something, sure. But if it's like every few panels,
there's a difference between,
and like, why are you
missed some
going to
stuff
rush this game?
while editing versus you just didn't check it at all. And even then, I feel like I mean, I've been writing, and I feel like if I went back and read through it, like, there'd be sentences that I would maybe change, or they might sound clunkier than I thought they would. But like, I do feel like sometimes I'll read like a fanfic or something, something someone clearly, I can kind of understand that, like, they just kind of threw it together and didn't edit it, but it's to a point where it's like, I'm amazed at how many typos there are. Like, I just feel like, at least me personally, I would just not make this many typos. unless I was like, it's exclusively writing while like half asleep or something, you know. Which
It's
I guess,
just-
to be fair, some people just kind of are. I don't know. I guess some people don't care about that aspect when they're writing. They're just like, I'm just gonna type as fast as I can, and I'm not gonna look back, and I don't care if it's like the worst, you know,
Hmm.
to read. But I feel like that's weird to me, just in the sense that like, I don't know. I would think if you were writing something, if you're writing it and you didn't share your stuff, and then like you had the only people who had ever read it were like super close friends or like significant others, but like you didn't post it anywhere, and it was like you only showed it to people upon request, and you wrote it just for you, then I wouldn't, obviously, in that case. Who cares? It could be like, it could be in fucking, it could be like full of nonsense, like lingo that only you understand, and I wouldn't care. But when you post it online, to me, it immediately becomes like, okay, but like, if you're gonna post it for people to read, I would expect you to have like, I don't know, minimal grammar checking or something going on. Like,
Agreed. And I
whatever.
think it's
Hmm.
no, I'm just still offended sometimes because a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, it's super good. Like the characters are really hot." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah.
But then if the writing is bad, I'm like, "This? Really?" It
Yeah.
drives me bananas.
No, I
Like,
get that.
and then the things that people don't recommend us, or that a lot of people don't recommend us, right? That I end up finding on my own, that has like really strong writing people don't know about. And that also drives me nuts.
Right.
But it's because
Yeah.
they don't have like the super hot alternative characters who are so goth but don't listen to actual goth music. I'm gonna go on a tangent. Goodness, we need a whole just tangent stream later.
Apparently. No, I
So-
get what you mean. I feel like it's kind of like trying to think of like what would be an example for me. Like if somebody recommended me something because it had like fairies in it, and then I played it and I was like, this fucking sucks, and I hated everything about it, but you just recommended it because it had a fairy. I don't know. You know what I mean? Something like that. Yes.
Well, you probably also get recommended a lot of like retro games that just because they're retro, but you're not into that
is
sort of
true.
retro games.
That is true. I do, and I just will be like, I will check it out, and then I'll be like, nope, no, thank you. So, yeah, no, yeah, you're right. But yes, I do understand fully what you mean. But it does seem like that is kind of a downside to visual novels. Is there's definitely like maybe even if they're not the majority, it does feel like the like louder part of like visual novel fans tend to be the ones who like the visual novels for the visual part, not the novel part. Like they don't really care how it's
This is why I have
written.
to make my own.
Agreed.
Because then I'll give people standards.
True.
But I also have this feeling that a lot of the things, because it's even with my scripts, a lot of things still go over people's heads or they don't understand the complexity behind it. And I am now also sipping my cup of tea with my pinky out because of just like, if you just thought a little bit more and like, you know, explored and used your imagination a little bit, you'd have a lot more fun than if all of this love and praise and affirmation was spoon-fed to you.
Right. I agree with that in terms of like ASMR. Is that it does feel like a lot of people uh are more interested in uh and audio role plays in general. It feels like a lot of people just want like the thing that they already know they like. And I guess actually, I mean, really, I guess that's kind of true of all media, in my opinion. Is I feel like people tend to go to the thing that they know that they've already seen 100 times because they know that they like it
Hmm.
before they'll go to something weirder. And every now and then there is something like weird or niche that like blows up. And that's cool. But it's kind of a weird thing of like it blew up to a point where it became like mainstream, but a lot of people wouldn't have gone and checked it out unless it was mainstream. So it's sort of
Like the
like,
Amazing
well,
Digital Circus.
yes.
Good
Although
grief.
I feel bad for the Goose because it feels like the fandom is just very mean to her for no reason.
After the first because I got into it super early on.
Right.
Like super early on. I love the first episode. But
Mhm.
then the moment it started getting bigger, I jumped ship.
That's fair.
Because it's not because it got bigger, but I saw in the ways that it got bigger that I'm like, I've seen this before and I'm not going to be around for this.
Valid. I feel like honestly, I try to avoid the Deltarune Undertale fandom for similar reasons. Because they can be really annoying. In my experience.
I've seen only little bits and parts, and I prefer all of the artists. Specifically, the artists who love Noelle.
Yeah. That's
because they are usually the safest artists.
Okay. I'm gonna make a complaint here. The guide that I have open
is bad.
Oh, they remain defeated until you turn off the game. Oh, because God damn it, because I accidentally quit the game earlier when I went to save. Now the bosses are back. I misread it. I thought it said that they stay gone even when you turn off the game. So I was like, well, I don't have to worry about anything. But now I have to refight them all. That's annoying. That's more of an NES problem. That's me misreading the guide and the NES being a very limited console more than anything. Damn it. Should have read that more clearly. No, that's on me more than anything. TBH. But yes. I mostly look at fan art.
True. I was gonna say, did you ever finish going through how you score things?
No.
Because I cannot remember the. I was like, I can't remember the number. Oh gods.
4 is like it's mostly fine, but there are like certain parts that just make me go like, that was really stupid. I hated that. But like, because a 5 for me is average. So a 4 to me is like, it's mostly average, but certain parts made me mad. You know? And a 5 is like, it's usually a 5 is kind of boring because it's like, if something's below a 5, at least the parts that make me mad are like something. Like sometimes I would rather read a manga that's below a 5 than I would a 5 because at least it made me feel something. You know?
That makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see. Increase defense. But yeah, 5. Oh my god. Stop dying, guys. We already did this fight. Come on. Chop, get it together. It didn't work. Shit. So yeah, 6 is like, it's mostly just kind of like whatever, but then there were like certain parts I was like, you know what, that was actually kind of cool. I kind of liked that. Like, it wasn't amazing, but it was like kind of cool. I kind of liked that part that just happened. 7 is like, 6 also could be one of those things where like I found that sometimes something's like super mid, but it's mid in a way that's like weird. It's almost kind of like endearing. That makes sense. Like it you just like if you know, everyone has certain tropes. I feel like that they're kind of like, even if it's not done well, I still like it. And I feel like that's what a 6 can also be, is like it's mid, but it had tropes that I generally like. So I had fun, even though I was well aware that like the actual content wasn't like especially interesting. 7 is like generally pretty good, but it doesn't teeter into like, it never does anything amazing, but I liked it the whole way through.
Okay.
Yeah. And then an 8 would be like, it's not like the greatest thing I've ever saw, but I really liked it the whole way through. Maybe it had certain parts that like I felt like could have been done better, and they kind of like stood out to me a bit because of it, you know. A 9 is like, a 10 is like, this is something that I watched, and the whole time I was just like, oh my god, this is so cool, like from beginning to end. And a 9 is kind of like, it was amazing the whole way through, but maybe there were certain bits that like certain small things that kind of stood out to me. I was like, it would have been a 10 if this part was better, or if that part was better, you know. But I kind of feel like the difference between a 9 and a 10, for me, most things end up only being a 9. A 10 is like, not only is it like great, but it because even 10s have parts I don't like, to be fair, but a 10 is like to the point of like this has affected how I like view this medium going forward, and it will be like, it has affected what I consider to be like a good use of the medium, I guess. Like Toradora is an anime that I would give it 10, and it's like what I would hold romance anime to like the standard of, generally. Not totally, because like a more comedic romance, like You and I Are Polar Opposites, you know, I obviously wouldn't hold it strictly to like Toradora standards, and obviously, you know, but in like a general sense, like, you know, this I consider Toradora to be like what most romance or love stories in anime should be striving for. So I would give that a 10. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I honestly kind of prefer rating things 1 to 5, if I'm being honest. But my anime list only does one, like, you don't get to choose. It's 1 to 10, so, you know. Because with 1 to 5, it's like 1 is like, I'm more likely to rate something a 1, because a 1 is just, this really makes me mad, and I didn't like it, except for maybe like a handful of parts here and there, but for the most part, I just didn't like it. And a 2 is like, it can range from like being mostly bad to like just being slightly worse than average. 3 is average, 4 is above average, 5 is so I'm more likely to rate stuff on the extremes with a 1 to 5 scale. But there's so many numbers on a 1 to 10 scale that it feels like it's hard to justify rating something a 1 or a 10, you know. So I don't know. What about you? What is your idea of like how you rate stuff?
I usually don't.
You have mentioned that before, actually. I forgot.
I usually don't. I think I've only ever rated things like books and such on like Goodreads. That's where I keep a lot of my books.
Right.
I've been trying to get better at trying to rate things, but there were things that I liked when I was younger, or even just like a few years back, that I didn't really get all the way, or like that I didn't like and I didn't get, and I ended up rewatching it and had like a completely different opinion on it. So I think I've always been afraid to rate things in that way, because I think of like all of the factors of like, okay, you know, do I really hate this romance anime, or am I just like really sad and lonely right now?
Interesting. See, that's...
Or do I like...
you finish first.
And, or like, you know, is this anime or this movie really, really good? Or was it just something that was super comforting to me at the time?
Right. That's why, ironically, that's why I do rate stuff. Because I think it's interesting. I like to rate stuff based on when I watch, because I go back to stuff. I'm more willing to go back and reread or rewatch stuff now versus what I would have been like a year or two ago. So I've been trying to, I don't know. I always was like, well, why would you go back to something you already know what happened? But I've kind of gotten to a point where it's like, but there's like, it's interesting to go back to it and be like, well, how do I, you know, because you change over time, so you're gonna have different. You might like certain parts more, or like certain parts less, or you might have a different view of something.
Or you completely forget about things.
That's true too. I've noticed that with rereading and rewatching and blah blah blah. Is I'm surprised how much I'll get to a part in the story, and I'm like, I know something happens with this, but I can't remember what actually happened, and I'll be like surprised that I don't remember like what's about to happen in the story. So I do stand by my belief that if you can like overread stuff, though, like
that I agree,
or overplay, like Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of my favorite games, but I don't like going back. Like, usually when I replay it, I prefer to not actually like watch the cutscenes or dialogue. I'll just play through the game and like speed run it. I try to keep like at least a minimum of a year, but preferably closer to like maybe 2 to 3 years. Because I feel like if I remember this, I do the same thing with Deltarune. It's like why I replayed Deltarune a lot after beating chapters 3 and 5, but I always, whenever I replay it in my free time, I always skip the dialogue, and that's why when we were talking about like everyone was talking about like favorite chapters, I was talking about how like my opinion on my favorite chapters is heavily affected by how fun it is just to replay the chapters purely from a gameplay standpoint. Because I've replayed every chapter at least like 10 to 20 times, but I've only replayed the chapters while reading them. I've played chapter 1 probably 5 times while actually reading the dialogue. And when I go back and when I went back and replayed chapters 3 and 4 after being in my stream to look up and /find the stuff I missed, I would skip through the dialogue except for the new parts. Because I was like, I knew I wanted to replay chapters 3 and 4 in some capacity. Before around the time that chapter 5 was coming out, I knew I would want to replay chapters 3 and 4. But I knew that if every time I went back and played them, I was actually reading the dialogue, I'd be way too familiar with it, and it would kind of just feel like a slog. Like, I feel like no matter how good a story is, if you have it like basically memorized, it's like it can only be so interesting to reread it, you know.
That makes sense.
So, yeah. And I just feel that way about anything. Like, I feel like the more I've even now, as like having reached the point of like, you know what, rereading or rewatching or replaying stuff is cool. I do still agree that like I think it's different for every piece of media, but I think I would argue that every piece of media has a certain amount of time where it's like, if you don't wait X amount of time, and it's also different per person to person, because like, I think some people aren't going to be bothered about watching a movie and remembering every other line like perfectly. Like, for some people that might actually make it better, you know. But for me, there's like a point with every piece of media where it's like, if I don't wait X amount of time, then I can feel myself not having as much fun, because I'm like, oh, it's too. I remember too much. So like it's almost like it's basically like playing out in my head, and then I'm watched before it actually happens, and it, you know, I feel like a certain amount of enjoyment that comes from media is unpredictability to some degree, or not completely unpredictability, but like I don't know. I guess it's very complicated and nuanced, because I feel like it even changes from scene to scene. Like, I think that a movie will have scenes that aren't less interesting just because you remember what happened, but then there will be certain scenes that are more interesting when you can't picture the scene playing out perfectly in your head ahead of time. And I think it also is a me thing, because like I was gonna say, with Metal Gear Solid 3, it's one of my favorite games, but if I play it too often and I actually watch the cutscenes, like the sillier bits don't make me laugh as much as they might, and the more emotional bits don't hit me as hard, because like it's almost kind of like, I don't know, like taking an antibiotic or a drug or something, where you build a tolerance. It's like, I've built a tolerance for this game's brand of like emotional or funny or something, and so it just doesn't hit me, and then I'm like not having as much fun as I would have if I had waited an extra like 6 months before going back to it, you know. But I also do think that it isn't, sometimes you do go back to something and you will just be like, it's not that I've like played this recently or something, it's that I just don't like it as much as I did. Like, I replayed, to stay on Metal Gear, I replayed there was one point where I played MGS2 and 3 back to back, and I have always liked 3 more, but I really liked 2 the first time I played it. But I remember when I played it on stream, I was like kind of sad, honestly, because I was playing it and I was like, I'm really finding the story of 2 just like not like noticeably less interesting than it was to me the first time I played it, or even like the second or third time, like, because I first played it when I was like 19 or 20, I think, and then I didn't play it for a while until I played it on stream, and I was like a little disappointed, because I was like, man, I remember like finding all of the themes and the story and stuff way more interesting, but it's a lot of this is sort of just like to me right now. And I feel like it can be a little. I actually watched a video yesterday, and it's like background noise now I think about it, of someone being like this exact thing where they were like, yeah, I went back and watched this anime I really liked when I was a teenager, and I was like watching with my friend, and I realized that I kept going, oh yeah, it's good if you ignore that part and that part, and don't think too hard about that. And then they were like, oh god, I don't like it nearly as much as I used to. And they were basically talking about the same thing. Like sometimes you go back to something and you like it more, but sometimes you go back and you like it less, which it's just how it works. I think it's a little sad when you like something, I do think, and you go back and you don't like it as much. But I also think that like I've also come to the opinion that like if something had an effect on you at one point, or even if it didn't have like an effect on you per se, you just liked it a lot at one point, because I do think you can really, really like a story and not necessarily have been affected by it. And I think you can also find a story mid but be affected by it, but that's a whole other topic that we don't need to get off on a tangent. Anyway, but I think going back to something that you really liked or something that really affected you at one point, you know, it might be because the guy in the video was like, I'm almost kind of scared to go back to watch or other anime that I used to like. And some people in the comments were like, he was kind of like, he was like being a little hyperbolic, because he did mention kind of like, but I might still do it because it'd be interesting, because he was talking about how sometimes you'll like it more and sometimes you like it less. And that it's kind of interesting how that works. But he was like, it feels like a crab or like a roll of the dice, because you don't know if you're gonna like it more or less or the same. But I do think that's interesting. But I don't think I do think that you shouldn't let that stop you from going back to stuff. And I think that it can be very interesting, because I've read Homestuck probably like 5 times, and there are certain parts that I've always kind of maintained a pretty consistent opinion on how much I do or don't like certain parts. But there's certain parts that I like. One read, I'll be like, that was really good, and then the next time I read it, I'll be like, that part was really boring. I used to like that part, and then I'll read it again. I'll be like, wait, no, I do like it. And get like, I think there's a lot of factors that go into, which is, you know, which is why I totally understand why you don't generally like to rate things, which is, there's so many factors, like honestly, to the point where like I think the difference of like, this is pretty hyperbolic in itself, but I think there are days where like the difference of how much you like something could be like, did I watch it in the morning or the evening? I would have liked it like 20% less if I'd watched it in the morning, because there's so many factors that go into that. But that's why I do rate stuff, was what I was kind of getting at, is that I think it's interesting to be like, this is what I thought of it when I read it. And I haven't really reread much manga or rewatched much anime. I will usually, I always update my rating on my anime list if I do rewatch or reread something to match the last time that I went through it, because I don't know, I think it's interesting to be like, this is when I watched this or read this is what I thought of it. Like, I thought it was a 7, you know. And then I'll wait a while until I have a reason. Like with Mob Psycho, I would actually say that I think overall I liked it more when I watched it recently, and because there were certain aspects and themes of the story that I think didn't hit me as hard when it was first airing and I was younger. And I think there are certain aspects of that story that like I can better appreciate and understand, you know, being in my 30s. I think especially Reagan is a character that the older I get, the more I can like really like. I always liked Reagan. I always thought he was like one of the best characters, but I feel like the older I get, the more I can like appreciate Reagan. Did he just heal himself to max? That motherfucker. But yeah, so but even Mob, I feel like there were certain aspects of Mob about Mob. Weirdly enough, even though Mob's a teenager, there are things about Mob that I think I felt like I kind of got. I feel like maybe though that's an aspect of like, I think the further I get from my teenage years, the more I can like look at the kind of person I was as a teenager with more of a with less bias, I guess. Like, I feel like when you do dumb things as a teenager and you look back on them when you're like in your early 20s, it's easier to view them purely as like a God, I was such a fucking cringe little loser. But when you get, I feel like as you get older, it's easier to be like, okay, well, I did that and it was kind of cringe, but like, I was also just being a teenager, and I can like think about certain aspects of my life at the time and understand why I was being like that, I don't know. But I also think it's a lot of stuff. Like, I think a story that has specific themes those themes will hit better with you if they're more relevant to your life or at the time of watching it. So that's a whole thing. I don't know. There's a lot to it, I think. Like I said, I totally get why you don't rate stuff. I'd really like this guy to die. Because there's so much that goes into it, but I've always found it interesting to rate things when I get done with them so that I can look back on it and like, oh fuck, he's dead, let's go. Okay, I can leave, but I can't turn the game off, which means I can save state, so it's fine, there's no problem there. But I am gonna have to beat the final boss. We're literally at the final boss, so I'm gonna have to do that at the start of Sunday stream. But cool. That was a whole thing. I feel like every time I go on tangents about media, I feel like, thank you for feeding your rat. Oh shit, we gotta let one more cheese before we ended. Every time I go on a media tangent, I always come out being like, I don't feel like anything I just said made sense to anyone except me. Because
Shut up. It made perfect sense. You do know things. You do know what you're talking about. I swear to the gods. Don't diminish yourself on your own stream while I'm here. Excuse me?
But you can do it on your stream.
I don't know what you're talking about. I, Emery Luxheart, have not streamed today.
That's true. Yeah, got me there.
I did. So, no, the stuff you did make sense. You do know what you're talking about. Shut up. But also don't shut up. You loser.
Cool. You're right. No, I feel like I just say that because when I go on tangents like that, I get to the end and I'm like, I don't actually remember most of what I just said. So I hope it was interesting. Is more so what I meant. Is that I ended that tangent and went, I don't remember 99% of what just came out of my mouth.
And that's okay, because I'll remember it. Don't worry about it.
Let's go. All right, cool. Well, we're going to finish this on Sunday's stream.
Wahoo!
And I will walk up to the final boss in my free time before then, so we can just like do that really fast at the start of stream. And then we'll jump into Summon Night, Swordcraft story on Sunday. Although, admittedly, I'm a little. I mean, I could just beat it. I feel a little bad about starting a game and then stopping it because of Deltarune, but at the same time, I'm like, because I'm just gonna finish it after Delta. I mean, I guess worst case, or potentially actually best case, if the game just isn't good, I guess then I would just be like, well, oh well, we'll just stop playing the game and do something else. I don't know.
Correct. That's exactly what's going to happen.
But if not, if it's good, then I think we're gonna get like halfway to 3/4 of the way through, and then we'll pause for Deltarune Chapter 5. But it's only one chapter, so it shouldn't take me more than like 3 streams to do both routes in it, I wouldn't imagine. So yeah. And then we'll go back to it. But anyway, yeah, Sunday we're gonna go beat the final boss of this game and then start some Night Swordcraft Story. Which is a game I've wanted to play for a while, and it's fitting for June because there's a character who's female, and you can be a boy or a girl, main character, and she has romantic interest in you regardless. So I was like, that's very fitting for Pride Month. Also very surprising because it's a Game Boy Advance game, and you don't really see a lot of games that old that have that were like, well, this one wasn't mainstream, it's pretty niche, but it was like, you know, it exists. It had an official English translation, so on a Nintendo console. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, cool. Oops, close that thing. Yeah, I'm gonna go see who all is streaming, but first, thank you, Emery, for coming on and hanging out. This was fun. It was nice to
Thank you for having
ramble
me,
on about
as
media.
usual. Listen, I'm always down. I'm always down to talk and to go on tangents.
Hell yeah. All right, BPR, go follow Ringo, my artiste, very cool, very epic. I'm curious on Sunday stream how much we will, if we'll get mini feed the rats, because we probably are only going to have like 20 minutes of Dragon Quest, so it'll be interesting to see.
You should probably. I'm so curious if you don't put a timer on how
People can
many.
just do it infinitely.
And by people, I mean me.
I feel like the problem with that is that I can't play the game because if people are just constantly doing it, then I just have to like keep doing the rat. Although I guess I could try to play the game with one hand and just see what happens. It's not like
consider just filling the screen with rats. Preemptively.
I'll do that instead. We'll turn off feed the rat and we'll just have a bunch of rats. Each rat will have a piece of cheese.
Amazing.
All right, cool. Here's the Ray message if anyone wants to join in for that. I'm gonna see who all is streaming. See. Okay. Weedu's doing Sonic Racing Crossworld, which is nothing like Dragon Quest, but no one no one I see is doing anything like Dragon Quest anyway, so I don't know. That seems like a more casual, well, I guess I don't know. This game is kind of hardcore, but also at a certain point I just was like, all right, we're just gonna cheese. We're going save states with this, which to be fair, I don't have any qualms about doing that with old games because some of them are just kind of like it's a little dumb. Like the game itself is fine, but the difficulty spikes in some of these old games just makes me go, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. Fairy Magic, rewind time 10 seconds. I win. Remember, kids, It's okay to use cheats, says Aito. If it makes the game more fun, then don't
And
let
that's
people
what
tell you.
matters.
Exactly. If you're having
It's
fun,
okay to have fun.
yes. Which is, I mean, to be fair, like literally, if you play the Switch game, any of those old Nintendo games on the Switch where they're officially released, they have save states built in. So if Nintendo says it's okay, then there's really no reason not to, I say. I mean, it's how I beat literally every Mega Man game I played. Is I would save state like once a minute, and then if I died, I'd just go back, because it was like, I'm not gonna beat these games if I have to actually like, play without save states. But if I use save states, it'll take me like 3 hours, and it'll be fun. So use save states if it makes the game more fun. That's my thing. Use walkthroughs if it makes the game more fun. Turn on cheats. Download mods. Do whatever is fun for you. Anyway, we're gonna raid Weiroo. I think they're playing as Dr. Eggman, and he's just running. He's not even in a car. He's outrunning Sonic on his feet. Pretty epic, actually. Anyway, thanks for coming out. Have a good day, good night, whatever it is for you. And I will see you in the next stream. Mwah.